locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke Loves Rasslin.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Let's get ready to rumble!
That is the lamest impression because it's the easiest one. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that.
Okay, so then who is it?
And it's copyrighted. You're not allowed to say that on this show.
I'm going to say whatever I want. What are you talking
So
about?
let you know that is copyrighted.
Well,
It's a copyrighted phrase.
I said it.
So you better get that lawyer friend of yours you're always talking about.
Listen, I got that lawyer on retainer, my man.
You're going to need it.
Michael Buffer?
Yeah.
I dare you.
He's made a career out of suing people for using that phrase.
Me and Michael Buffer are friends. We ain't got to worry about that. All right?
I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
We're going to find out very soon.
See that? Why are you trying to set me up? What is that?
Hey, you know what? This is my new thing.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
Because you've set me up so much.
That's a bad thing, just so you know.
Don't worry. Don't you worry about it.
Whatever.
You'll be fine.
Welcome back to Duke Loves Rasslin. I am the Duke, and yes, I do enjoy doing pro wrestler impersonations, including announcers. I'm going to keep on doing them, no matter what my illustrious co-host, the Boston bad boy Iron Mike Pelosi, says.
It doesn't matter what I say. It matters when you get the cease and desist from the attorney.
Michael Buffer doesn't have a problem with me. Okay?
Not yet.
I just made him famous. I just made him famous.
Yes, you did. Of
That's
course
right.
you did.
Of course I did. See that? Speaking of pro wrestling announcers,
yeah.
What's it like being one? Okay, and not only that, what's the hot scoop out there in the pro wrestling indie circuit? We're going to find out from Mark Adam Haggerty. He's going to join us a little later. We also have a special guest, Mr. Peter Vecsey, the Hall of Famer. He has a big announcement for us.
Well, always interesting when Peter drops by.
You know, you better strap yourself in because Peter, he's sharp, man. And I know he's going to give me a hard time. Don't worry, folks. I'm ready for him this time. Don't worry. We're also going to talk about the top 5 stories in the world of professional wrestling, a.k.a. Run the Ropes. And the Boston bad boy, I'm sure he's going to have some more nonsense like he always does every week. But
Listen,
hopefully he'll be on his best behavior.
While you waste time doing horrible impressions, I'm putting together thoughtful, researched, thorough ideas that I would like to push forward for the listening public.
Whatever. Well, before we get to any of that.
Wait, hang on. You know what? I think we need to just get right to the content tonight. I don't want to listen to any more of your opinions. I don't want to. I want this show to just be good stuff.
Oh, my goodness.
And not listening to you. So what I went ahead and did, because I care, as someone who cares and knows what I'm doing.
Putting yourself over.
I got Mr. Mark Adam Haggerty on the line right now, so let's just go right to the interview, because that way you can get straightened out.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, Mark, I know that you're a big-time ring announcer on the indie scene, but I got to ask you about something that's super important here. What did you think of the Punjabi prison match between Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton?
All right, well, first of all, I'm glad you told me who was in the match because I had no idea.
Whoa.
I have no idea, dude. Like, what do you want me to say to that?
Exactly.
Like, I don't think about the Punjabi prison match.
What are you talking about?
I got to say, Mark, that makes 2 of us, because Duke has been on this obsession to prove that the Punjabi prison is some sort of thing that's... Stop trying to make Punjabi prison happen, okay?
No,
it's not going to happen, man.
Well, what kind of ring announcer are you? You don't even know about the most popular match that happened in WWE recently.
Oh, boy. There you go.
Well, I mean, and not for nothing, like, you know, and I hope to one day work for WWE, but, I mean, I work for 11 different independent promotions, and, you know, WWE is one company in my mind at least. So
yeah.
I'd like to be thinking about WWE down the line, but right now I'm focused on me. You know, not trying to bury you or anything, dude.
No, please.
I try and think about that as little as possible.
Yeah, this guy's Duke. This is a working man, which you don't know anything about.
Oh, really?
So he's concentrating on what he's trying to do, and you're asking him ridiculous questions and completely burying the fact that this guy, at one point in his career, was growing medical marijuana. Now tell us more about that, because in Massachusetts, it was recently recreationally legalized. So I'm just curious about that, because I have another question that's going to fold back into wrestling. But tell me what the life is like. I mean, life for a ring announcer on the indie circuit or any circuit is pretty cool and pretty crazy. But you must have really good stories from this other stuff.
You know, it's like wrestling. It's kind of something that just kind of sort of happened. You know, wrestling happened on a whim, and so did that. I was living in Southern California, and I was living with a young woman at the time, and she was what is referred to as a bud tender, like a bartender. And she's like, "Hey, so you don't contribute anything to our rent. Do you want to come in and work?"
Wow.
Because this girl isn't there. And how do you say no to a proposition like that?
Yeah, she was pretty blunt about it, wouldn't you say?
Blunt.
Do you see what I did there?
Otherwise, our relationship would have been up in smoke.
There we go.
Wow.
Now we're getting somewhere.
All right.
So you started working with her. Now, were you into any kind of gardening that wasn't of the medical variety beforehand? Do you have any experience on a farm or anything?
None. No, I'm from the Garden State.
Right.
Nice.
About it, and if you've ever been there, it's anything but.
There's been sort of an epidemic going on in professional sports and in wrestling especially, where a lot of these guys are dealing with serious injuries. And because of that, they're turning to heavy-duty opiate-based medications to deal with it. Now, we know there are alternatives out there. Someone who's been there, someone who's done the work, someone who's provided that kind of alternative care to somebody, do you think that there's a future for that in pro wrestling?
Yeah, 100%. I'm not going to say who. But when I got into wrestling, that was kind of like, in my mind, it would be like a stigma if anyone ever found out, right?
Right.
But then the deeper you get into it, I don't want to say everyone smokes weed or everyone whatever, but like the vast majority of people I've come across at least are open to it in the wrestling world, and if they're not, like, they're easily influenced.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say this. I think the two of you, with your wacky tobacco talk right now, is very ridiculous. And I'm gonna put this out there. I'm gonna send this portion of the show to Jeff Sessions, because I know he's gonna want to hear about who's advocating for this nonsense going on out there.
Do you have any guarantee?
I
mean, when is this going to drop? Like, we're live, right? Like,
right.
Is there any guarantee that he's still the Attorney General?
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now?
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Right. That's enough.
So
that's enough from
What's
both of
going
you.
on right now while we're doing this show?
I don't like the way this talk.
I'm trying to get it back on track because Duke continues to insult the people I bring on this show.
Well, hold on.
And don't treat them with the due respect that is deserved for a man with such a vast and varied career.
Well, let me tell you something. You want to talk about insulting? This guy is on that Grimm's Toy Show, and I heard that Grimm had some problems recently. What the heck is going on with that? He got jumped?
Yeah, well, I guess a lot of people know, Grimm. He's got 1 million subscribers on YouTube. He's got Grimm's Toy Show. It's a it's a fun. He's the first one to say it's like the SNL, Mad TV, whatever of pro wrestling. They don't take themselves too seriously, but a lot of the guys, that they bring in like Zack Ryder and Robbie E. and the Twisted Sisters, and a lot of big talents are on the show, and it gives it credibility. And I think that kind of rubs people the wrong way elsewhere. People that might not be getting those same opportunities, people that might not be getting thousands of Twitter followers from it. But, long story short, Grimm and a couple of his guys were on a local independent show. And, I'm not trying to bury them. I don't bury promotions I don't work for. That's just not my style. But I do not know what the company is called. I'd never heard of them before, and I don't know how, I don't know how they're going to be doing in the future after all this. But Grimm was working a tag match with a guy from his show named Jay the Key Evans.
Oh, yes.
One of the more talented of them all, definitely has a future if he sticks with it. And they're going up. I don't even know what they were doing, quite frankly. Maybe they were wrestling each other. I don't even know. But the two of those dudes were in the ring, and then two guys came out. I don't even want to give them the satisfaction of saying their names, but I will, so that they get even further blacklisted.
Whoa.
In the industry. And that is Aaron Bradley, who's I would say, Grimm should have knocked his teeth out, but God already did that for him. And then Brandon Kirk, who I never heard his name before all this, and apparently no one else had either. But these guys got in the ring wearing their socks and sandals, grabbing the mic. Legit, I'm not throwing shade. That's what they did.
This went around online too. I actually saw this. They really beat the hell out of this poor guy.
They punched Grimm in the back of the head,
Yeah.
which that's not wrestling. So they punch him in the back of the head, and Grimm, who is a family friend, he curses on his show, yeah, but it's a kid's show. And then in a live setting, Grimm has to scream out all these obscenities. He says, live on camera, stop following this company, blah, 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 because he, whether people like it or not, Grimm has a little stroke. A lot of people came to his aid after this, Danny Cage from the Monster Factory, a bunch of people in WWE and GFW. But these guys got jumped, and then they power bombed Jay. And luckily, Jay does have a little bit of training because, a power bomb is, for all intents and purposes, a safe move. But, if these guys wanted to do damage and drop him on his neck, these guys, they're rightfully blacklisted right now. Every promoter that I know, from the guys at Tier 1 who were looking at Aaron Bradley to the guys at, Battle Club and beyond, no one is going to be bringing these guys in.
Working with Duke especially, he's in for a real bruising with the stuff he says. And I only hope that some of the big-time guys come and rough him. I'm not advocating violence to anybody man. But for Duke, I would look the other way. When are you in town at all? Are you coming to this part of the country that you could maybe come down here? Maybe you could straighten out Duke for me.
He couldn't get booked over here if he wanted to.
Though I am. You guys are in Boston, right?
That's right. Yeah.
You don't get booked around here. What are you talking about?
I'm going to be in Malden for UFO Wrestling. Don't ask me what UFO stands for. I apologize. But it is a really, really cool organization run by a guy by the name of Pat Dillon. Already really like this guy from what I can tell, and I haven't even worked for him yet. And the card looks really great. We've got the Dirty Daddy Chris Dickinson on there, my buddy Robbie E., who is literally my best friend in this entire business. Furio Falcone, who's kind of all over the place up there. But it's going to be a really great card, and that's August 23rd. It's a Wednesday night at the Malden Irish Club.
Wow. So listen, if you come into my state, because this is the Duke talking here.
I've never even been to Massachusetts before.
Oh, trust me.
Mark Adam Haggerty, you come into my state, just make sure you're on your best behavior, because I'm going to tell you right now, we don't play games around here.
No, listen, Mark has to deal with the Boston bad boy, and Mark, I'll take you down. I'll take Duke to you now that you gave me the address of where we're going.
I'm bringing my lawyer.
I'm bringing him down there, and you're going to straighten him out, and we'll see if he wants to run his mouth and talk about this and that and stupid wicker cage matches or whatever the hell he was talking about earlier.
Punjabi prison match.
It was like a wicker chair. My mother had one of those in the 70s.
Stop it right now. Listen, Mark, you have done some business with Ryback. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we gotta get the scoop here, because Ryback, I want to know the truth. 1 minute he seems like the nicest, coolest guy ever, inspirational, the whole 9 yards, which I really like that Ryback a lot. I like that Ryback a lot, Ryback. And then the next minute he's arguing with the Ultimate Warrior's widow here. What is up with this dude? Is he working and he's really a nice guy pretending to be a bad guy, or is he something in between, or is he just a jerk? What's going on here?
So I have my own podcasting network, if I can plug it. It's B+ Player Radio. We've got 12 shows dropping every single week, a bunch of different really cool stuff. But at one point, we had the Pat Buck Show, which was Pat Buck from WrestlePro, Creative Pro Academy. Everyone loves Pat Buck. I was producing Pat's show, and then Pat said to me, "Hey, Mark, you know Ryback," and of course I had to do the same thing I did to Duke. Like, I don't watch WWE, Pat. No.
I do that to Duke every week. I yell at him that I don't watch WWE. Don't worry about it.
But basically, he's like, we're thinking about doing a podcast, conversation with the big guy. We talked about it. We hashed it all out. I produced the first 5 episodes. Then some personal stuff went down between myself and a couple people on the WrestlePro roster, including Pat, and I stopped producing his show. And then I obviously stopped producing Ryback's podcast. So I guess the way things ended, Ryback was none too happy with me. Fast forward about maybe 3 months or so. I am doing commentary for the Bigger, Better Wrestling Federation in New Jersey. And Ryback is in the main event against Falaba from Global Force Wrestling.
Yep.
I do watch GFW. I will say that because a lot of my friends are over there. But so that was our main event. And so earlier in the night, I'm setting up all my commentary equipment, and I'm up on the stage. And at the table next to me is Ryback, and it's his autograph line or whatever. And we're talking, and it's like he wouldn't know me from Adam. He just knew that I did his podcast, but he didn't know that I did his podcast. You know what I mean?
He didn't know your face.
No, he did not. And for some reason, I thought that was. After 30 years on this planet, I'm like, now is when I'm going to start being a man, like right now.
Uh-oh.
When he's talking to the professional wrestler, he decides.
Ryback, this big muscled up guy.
No, he is huge too. It's no joke. That is no joke. So basically, I'm sitting there and I get up and I'm like, hey man, so my name is Mark. Nice to meet you. And, hey, nice to meet you. And I'm like, totally. I just want to let you know, I was the guy who did your podcast, and then everything happened. I explained it to him, and he gives me this look, and he goes, "Man, you really didn't want to tell me that, man." And then for the next hour with him signing autographs, I'm still sitting there like waiting for the show to start at my commentary position. Between every fan coming and going, he'll talk to his handler, look at me and talk to his handler. Can you believe they just let anyone in this business nowadays? Just like constant shade thrown in my direction, just like over and over, like, some people are real pieces of you-know-what, like... And I just felt like I felt terrible. It was one of the worst experiences of my life because I felt bad enough about the situation. You don't have to make me feel worse in person, dude. But then afterwards, Pat Buck comes up to me and he's like, hey, man, I really do appreciate that you talked to Ryback. And I was like, doesn't seem like it. and he's just like, no, man, you didn't have to tell him who you were, and you did, and I really appreciate that. So at the end of the day, I guess Ryback and I are cool, but for a period, we were not.
Well, listen, I
don't think he's working.
I'm gonna put something out there. I'm gonna put something out there. Hey, Ryback, if you want to come with the Duke, and you can come down to Malden, Massachusetts, and we can go see this Mark Adam Haggerty guy together.
Adam, listen to me.
We'll see what Mark has to say about that.
Adam, listen to me. Listen to me when I tell you that the Duke is full of it. Okay, he has no power. He has no friends. He doesn't have any friends in the room he's sitting in right now. Let me put it to you that way.
Ryback probably hates my guts and he doesn't even know who I am.
I hate your guts and I know who you are.
Well, that's a good point.
Imagine what he thinks of you.
Guys.
Oh, yeah. Mark, if fans and bookers want to get in touch with you, what's the best way that they can reach you?
Obviously, if I'm not already booked, because I got a whole bunch of really cool bookings coming up, the best place to find me is definitely on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at B Plus Radio. It's just at B Plus Radio. Just spell it on out. I'm the only Mark Adam Haggerty, so I should be pretty easy to find. And my Instagram story is on point all day, every day.
Wow. This is
you can learn something. Duke, you can learn something, man.
I plan that out like in the morning.
Wow. This guy's very serious about his business there. Yeah. And where are you going to be this week? If fans want to come see you live, where's the best place to reach you there?
Well, this Friday, I don't know how far away it is from the Boston area, but I will be in Whitehall, New York for World of Hurt, the Corey Martindale Cup. Corey Martindale was, I believe, he was 15 years old who died of a terminal illness, and we're going to be doing a memorial show for him. The Human Rocket LSG is coming in. The Kingdom from Ring of Honor, they're coming in. Robbie E, obviously, if I'm somewhere, Robbie's usually there. But yeah, that's cool. And then I'll just say next weekend I want people to be on the lookout because not only am I going to be at Battle Club Pro on Friday night, but Sunday night I'm making my debut for LDN Wrestling out of the United Kingdom. They're having a show at the Queens Theater in the Park in Queens, New York, in Corona, New York, I should say. And I'm going to be doing commentary, and that is being taped live for Sky Sports, which, as we all know, that's like the ESPN over there. So it's a big, big deal for me.
That's great, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, listen, Mark Adam Haggerty, we'll definitely have you back on the show sometime. Give us an update what you have going on. But just understand that when you come to Massachusetts,
oh please stop. Let the guy go. He's busy. He's working.
Don't go shooting your mouth off at the Duke because I'll show up with my lawyer.
No, you won't.
And I will sue you just for even looking at me the wrong way.
No, you won't. Okay? I'll bring you. Listen, Adam. I'll bring him to you, and then you can straighten him out. Okay?
You don't even know my name.
Wait, what was his name again?
It's time to run the ropes. This is where I educate the Boston bad boy on the top 5 stories in the world of pro wrestling. Let's go.
Why do you think you always have to educate me?
Well, because you are one of those people who, for some strange reason, you think that you can be on one of the top wrestling podcasts in the universe and not actually watch the product.
Listen, if they had a better product, and you know what? Here's the thing. Here's the beauty of it. I know that you never shut up about wrestling. Sure. I don't have to sit through 17 hours of content because I know you're going to just come on with some list, and I'll listen. I'll pick up what I need to pick up. What is it? What is it that's so compelling that I need to know about?
First and foremost, Myka Madrid breaks the rules again. Well, okay, yeah. And let me tell you something about this Myka Madrid. I'm sick of her.
I think she's sick of you, too. I think the feeling is mutual.
Well, over the weekend, she had a match with Alexa, a.k.a. Sugar. Remember from Sugar and Spice?
Well, how could I forget?
That's right. Shout out to Alexa and her twin sister, Brianna.
Yeah.
Well, it was a pretty good match, but Myka, she broke the rules.
How so?
And the terrible referee didn't even catch on.
How so?
You know, she was pretending like her arm was hurting, and when the ref wasn't looking, she was doing illegal things.
The old classic, the ref wasn't looking.
She's a heel. She's terrible. She's terrible.
I'm sure Rudy was very fair when you talked to him about this.
Well, Rudy, he's all over the place. El Presidente. It's going to his head. That's
he was
the
too
problem.
busy smoking expensive cigars.
Yes, exactly.
And collecting the money at the door.
Counting his pesos. Here's the point. Alexa, she's a daughter of Texas.
Yep.
I mean, just true blue, fantastic. She's doing a great job out there. I know the folks down in Texas are loving everything she's doing. We need to do something about this Myka. I want her out of the business.
Oh boy,
because she's no good for the business if she's going to keep breaking the rules. I just can't have it.
You can't afford another personal vendetta against her.
I have a personal vendetta against her, and it's always been there because she threatens me, and I don't like it.
You're threatened by her.
Yeah.
She threatens you, or you're threatened by her?
Both. So what?
I think you're absolutely crazy.
I don't like your attitude.
Doesn't matter.
I don't like your attitude.
Now what?
TJ Wilson has made his return to the WWE.
All right.
How cool is that?
Well,
listen, TJ Wilson.
On a scale of what? What's what's the scale of cool?
Let me remind you.
Yes.
TJ Wilson, he's with Natty Neidhart.
Okay.
TJ unfortunately got injured during a match with Samoa Joe, which literally almost killed him.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
It was a terrible accident. TJ will never wrestle again, but he's a backstage agent now.
Right.
On SmackDown, which is pretty cool. So it's good to see him. He's back. He's moving around. That neck is never going to be the same, but at least he can function, which that's pretty nice.
Yeah, well, you don't want someone to be permanently injured.
No, never. And it was an accident, and we all know that.
So, maybe this guy can recover. I don't know.
He's a wrestling nerd, too. I think he listens to the show, which is pretty nice.
I don't want to hear any more about wrestling nerds. And I just want to say that it's just not compelling to me. I'm glad the guy's back. I just don't.
Ever make the mistake of saying anything derogatory about TJ Wilson.
I'm not saying derogatory.
Natty will put you in a sharpshooter.
It's not a name that...
It's a pretty big name.
You know what? It's not a name that rings my bell.
You're being disrespectful.
I'm just saying.
I'm just going
to
tell you right now, pal. You start being disrespectful, you start going down the wrong path, I can't save you, okay?
If I'm counting on you to save me, the whole world is in big trouble if you're saving anybody.
TJ Wilson, I apologize for whatever this
we're into the next.
just said.
We're into the next thing here. I'm sitting here and I want to be educated.
I'm just telling you right now that I don't like your attitude. Okay, so last week we had Al Snow on the show.
Yes.
How awesome was that?
That was incredible.
Well,
very cool guy.
Guess what? Everyone couldn't stop talking about the fact that Al Snow let it be known that Mick Foley has a sexual crush on him.
Sexual obsession.
So everyone was talking about this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Mick Foley's embarrassed by it.
Well, it's almost like how you should be embarrassed by your sexual obsession with Roman Reigns. There's this weird
You're not
this
do
weird
that.
thing.
You're
it's
not
dark.
going to do that.
It's
I'm going to
dark.
tell you. You're
I'm telling
not going to do that.
It's dark.
That's what you're not going to do.
A pro wrestler in the name of Al Snow has seen the other side of this, and he pretty much summed it up as to what it was.
You're not going to do this,
and it's frightening. And I think that maybe you should seek help with it. I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know.
Well, shout out to Al Snow, a guy who WWE. I hear he's a free agent right now. Okay, maybe you need to bring him back.
And he's in shape.
He's in great shape, and he has that collar and elbow, the T-shirt line, which is doing very well right now.
That's right. So he's got it all going on.
He
does. Got
his
wrestling schools.
See,
you want to be in on this.
Yes, exactly.
And you don't want to be on the wrong end of it. And somehow I feel like you're going to end up there.
Give me a break. John Cena lost to Shinsuke Nakamura.
Wow.
See?
I like that.
Well, if you were watching SmackDown, you would have seen the match.
No, but see, you told me about it, and I said, wow, I like that. And I didn't have to sit through commercials and all this other crap.
No one cares about what you like.
I like the guy with the cooler intro music.
Sure.
And the cooler. Yeah, again, Cena, let it go. Let it go.
Well, you know what happened, though, which is pretty tough.
Yeah.
He dropped Cena on his head towards the end of the match. He's
a big guy to drop on his head.
Well,
I mean that's sort of a bit of a David and Goliath sort of setup there.
He picked him up and did an exploder suplex where you pick him up from the back.
Right.
And flip him over, like literally flip him over your shoulder.
Sure.
And Cena landed like that. It was pretty bad. Yeah.
Was he all right?
He was all right. He was all right. He told him.
Well, all right. I mean, given the the concussion issues, he's one more.
He might
tick.
never walk.
He's
again,
one. He's one tick closer to the career being over. But it's good that he won.
Sure. So
Shinsuke's the guy you want to win.
Well, Shinsuke is going to take on Jinder at SummerSlam for the title.
Let's hope he's not in some bamboo cage because now.
Oh my God!
Because now you're getting into some horrible things. But I wouldn't put it past Vince McMahon. I really wouldn't. Because the guy has just completely lost the plot.
The number one story that you should know, Boston Bad Boy. And if you were paying attention...
I'll be the judge of that.
Jon Bones Jones has challenged Brock Lesnar to a
Really?
fight, to a real fight.
A real fight.
Real fight.
Now, I'm all for Brock Lesnar being taken out of commission.
I don't know about
somehow,
well,
or some way. Just to get him out of the circulation. I'm done with it.
Here are the facts. Jon Bones Jones is an inch taller than Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
And he actually has a few inches more reach,
Sure.
which is very interesting.
Well,
but
that's-
Lesnar weighs like 40, 50 pounds more.
Yeah, because he's just like a dense.
He's massive.
He's just a square.
Massive.
He's a mathematical rectangle.
Sure. So these guys, it looks like it's going to happen. It's going to be a UFC match.
Oh, so
and-
they're going to do it in the UFC.
Yep, mixed martial arts match.
Yeah, I don't know. I
And-
mean, how old is Brock Lesnar?
Jesus, he's like 42, I
I
think.
was gonna say he's
Yeah.
he's on the.
Jones is not that
Right.
old. He's like maybe 34 or something.
I think age starts to come into a factor here too. Above the physical
Brock
differences.
is going to annihilate him. But anyway, it's going to make a lot of money. And congratulations to Vince McMahon, the WWE.
Oh please. For what?
Good job.
For what? Good job for what?
What?
You can't just say good job and not tell for what.
Hit the bell.
For what?
You've heard what I think. Now, what do you
No,
think?
I haven't. I'm
Do
waiting
you
for you to tell
agree
me
with
for
me? Do you
what?
think I'm a jerk? Maybe
Congratulations,
we're not
Vic
gonna-
McMahon, for
You
what?
know why I'm congratulating them.
Because you're a company man.
And we're not going to discuss
You're
it any
bought and
further.
paid for?
We're not going to discuss it any further. Head over to Facebook, head over to Twitter. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
Up next, we're talking to the Hall of Fame journalist, Peter Vecsey.
Hey everybody, this is Rudy Russo, and you're listening to Duke Loves Rasslin. How do you like them, Montana?
Peter Vecsey,
It is
what's going on, brother?
what it is.
That's right.
You know what? At my age, you say what it was.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Boston Bad Boy is back with us.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah. Well, no, you're not the boss. You're a New York guy.
I know. What do you mean? I'm going to call you the Boston
You're
Bad Boy.
you're mortal enemies to the folks up here in
That's
Boston.
right.
No.
Knickerbocker?
I mean, I like
Boston
you.
Herald. Boston Herald guy.
Oh, that's right.
That's true.
That's
That's
right.
true.
That's right.
The
So-
Boston Herald, which is now the world's first translucent newspaper.
I know.
You can actually see through it when you hold it up to the light. they've just gutted the thing. It's
Yeah,
just
bad.
it's sad.
It's bad, man.
One of my favorite couple weeks in my career was working out of Boston, covering, when Murdoch owned the Herald and the Post.
Of
And,
course.
They asked me to come up there for 2 weeks and stayed at a hotel where Johnny Most, right near Legal Seafoods, I guess right above Legal Seafoods, and Johnny Most and I used to have dinner.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Remember Johnny Most with that voice? Oh, my God.
Get away from it.
No, I don't remember it.
He's asking me. He's
I
a
know.
smart ass. This guy's a smart ass. I don't
me
even
a
know why you
break.
even hang out with or talk to this guy.
Give me a break. Boston Bad Boy.
Yeah.
I'm on the phone earlier with Peter, and sometimes he tolerates me, and other times he just can't stand me.
That's like me, although
Well-
I'm leaning more towards can't stand.
Give me a break. It
Yeah,
depends
well,
on.
who gets paid to stand you? That's what I'm
Yeah.
No one in this room, Peter. I'll tell you that.
Listen,
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Hey.
I must have done something horrible in
Peter,
a past life.
don't mess up my groove here, Peter. Come on now. Don't mess this up. Come on. Well, the point is, though, I'm talking to Peter, and I say, hey, what are you up to? And he says, well, I'm about to get back to my John Deere tractor. And I was like, what? What the heck does a city guy know about John Deere tractors?
Yeah, I do. Did you ever get on a Z-Track? You know what it is?
I know what it is, but I've never been on one.
Yeah, well, I was afraid of it the first time too. But you do it with your hands, and it's a huge machine. That was one of my biggest investments. It's expensive, and so 20 years later, it's still going and still taking care of me. And you're only as good as as a reporter. You're only as good as your sources.
Mm-hmm.
And as a maintenance guy, a landscaper.
No, call yourself a farmer. I think you've earned it
yeah.
after 20 years.
I'm not a
Peter.
farmer. I don't grow anything except tired. But you're only as good as your equipment. So I probably only dented maybe half the trees on my property.
Is that all? Can
Hey,
you
but
I'm
imagine?
learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
Well, we're gonna get because this is the new technology now. We're gonna get a drone and we're gonna put it over your house and we're gonna snap some photos and send it out to TMZ and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Peter Vecsey.
I'd like to put myself up there on the tractor. I love my tractor, man.
He's gonna, you can send it out to all your family on the holidays. You can
Yes.
just here's footage of me.
Yeah, Peter on his tractor.
on my tractor.
Yeah. Give me
I
a
like, I
break.
like my tractor and my rocks and my trees a lot better than people.
Trust me, after having doing this show with the Duke for a while, I'm starting to lean more your way
give me a
every
break.
day.
Seriously, who do you think you are coming out of retirement and putting out this Hall of Fame quality journalism right out of the gate? I mean, we thought we got rid of you, Vecsey, and here you are 5 years later and you're writing again. What the heck's going on?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I'm back. I'm working hard. It's kind of therapy for me. You know, I've been trying to write my book for 5 years, and this probably will help me. You know, I've written a lot for the book, and all of my friends who read today's column, they say, why would you put all that in this column? Because that should be in the book. And my answer is that there's so much that I have to put in the book that this, you know, parts of it might fit in, but you know, one specification that I have, or not specific, one stipulation I have is that you can take out anything you want in the book. You're not going to add anything, but you can take out stuff. I understand. But anything you leave in, I want indemnification for. That's the kind of book.
Right.
You know, so I did one chapter. You know, I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but
Sure.
just the title should tell you everything. It's called The Undesirables.
Oh, Jesus. That's where you
He
buried everybody.
He might need witness protection.
I know, right?
Never mind indemnity.
Right.
You might be like in Henry Hill's territory here.
Well, let's talk about
Yeah,
something.
there is a lot of stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about something here because on your new website. What's the website, Peter?
Why don't you do that? You're going to have to spell it.
Because Duke doesn't want to jump on your bandwagon too much. The website is Patreon?
Yeah,
PATREON.com/Peter Vecsey, Vecsey, for those listening to jump on there.
It's all lowercase.
All lowercase. And you know what?
And if anybody buys now, you know, anybody comes in late, they still have all the columns up.
Right. It's an archive.
That's right.
Then we're gonna do podcasts. I'm working on my first podcast.
Whoa! Breaking news.
Who I want as a guest.
Well, you know, I think Peter comes on this podcast to know what he doesn't want in his own podcast.
Oh, that's what it is. Peter, you actually had a scoop, your first post on your website there, where Phil Jackson responded to an email that you had sent out.
Yeah, it was amazing. You know, again, I covered Phil from the day he showed up as a rookie with the Knicks and covered him throughout his career. So at times we had a great relationship. At other times it was a hate relationship. It didn't really finish strong in L.A. I'd walk by him in the hall out in L.A. and he'd like look me off. You know?
Of course he did.
And so I didn't know if he was going to respond. I've only sent him maybe one or two messages since he was with the Knicks, and so I said I got nothing to lose. I sent him a message. You know, I wanted to know, like, what's up? You know, what happened? And he did respond. And in fact, I have the only quote from him since he got fired.
Wow. That's right.
And he said, and you know, it's amazing. These, you know, like I know there are newspapermen that read that have subscribed to it, including a guy from the Post. And you know, God forbid the Post would give me any credit on it. But yeah, I mean, he said, "What the fuck?" He said, "I don't know what happened either."
Wow.
He said, "I'm not angry." I think that's what he said. I'm not upset, but I am disappointed. And he said, "I'm disappointed in myself for not, you know, being able to make the team into at least a 500 team in 3 years." He said, "I thought we, you know, we're heading in the right direction, that something might happen to improve, but I think that was basically it. I can't remember. There was a little bit more. He complimented me. I said, whoa, you know, said I was one of the best. So he might have been high when he...
Well, it is Phil Jackson, so you never know that, you know.
Well, you do know.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. He'll tell you, the Zen master.
And he did say he's on hold. He can't really say.
That's right. He said something about, you know, his lawyers or handlers, whoever, you know, told him he has to take it easy and let this one breathe for a second.
He didn't use lawyers, but whatever. So I'm not going to have you quote anything.
Well, listen, you know, I got the scoop here, right? Now, wait, when we're talking about
already misquoting.
I know, right? Yeah, Phil's going to jack me up.
Yeah, you lost out on that podcast co-host.
Well, going from a controversial figure to another controversial figure, There's a guy that's out there who's been pushing himself pretty heavily by the name of LeVar Ball.
And Peter, I just want to go. What sums up LeVar Ball to me? I'm not a super basketball. I'm not super knowledgeable about it. What the fuck is up with this guy, man?
Well, look, I don't know him. Only from a distance. I see what he's doing. I've got a kid too, and he's now almost 30, and I got way too involved in his basketball, and I think I cost him. But, I got escorted out of a gym one time.
Whoa!
This is a cautionary tale here.
Yeah, right?
Oh, man. It was bad. It was bad. I just should have stayed away from it. And so I see what he's doing, and all I can say, yeah, he acts like a fool. He says some ridiculous stuff. But to me, it's all an act, and he's gotten publicity for himself and for his son and his other sons and his brand, and he scared off everybody so that they wouldn't even think about taking his son in the draft, and he wanted to go to the Lakers. I think it was all set up between him and the Lakers to do this because he hasn't bothered them since. but I don't really have a problem with it.
Is there any chance that the dad's bluster is going to somehow make that brand outweigh the talent that the son eventually has? That it ends up looking like So in your opinion, you think he's got it?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's up to the kid.
Right.
The father can mouth off all he wants.
That's right.
He's obviously got a mouth big enough for 2 sets of teeth. He's talking about he can beat Jordan. I mean,
No, right.
You know what? you couldn't beat me off. Son's doing well, and he's got some deficiencies, and that can be corrected. But you can never teach. You can teach how to shoot. Obviously, you can't teach free throw shooting.
Ask Shaq.
Well, that's because Shaq thinks he's standing on a flat Earth when he's shooting.
Good point.
He doesn't understand that the Earth is round.
That's right.
Throwing off all his math.
That's right.
Well, you listen to Kyrie.
Well, you just brought up a name that has been in the news. It's really the number one name that's been talked about the last couple of weeks. Kyrie Irving has allegedly demanded to be traded from the Cleveland Cavaliers, which is the team that he won a championship with a couple years ago and the team that LeBron James is on. Now, you speculate that LeBron will be gone long before Kyrie. What's that all about? What makes you say that?
No. First of all, he didn't demand. Okay, you got to get your words right.
Uh-oh.
He requested. He can't demand anything because he doesn't have that power. He requested. He asked. Okay, so there's a big difference. It's so that's one thing. I didn't speculate that LeBron will be gone. I suggested that, and this was before Kyrie made his demand. I mean, requested. What the owner should do is trade LeBron now because looks like he's where he's going to wind up.
So you're saying LeBron's going to L.A. That's what you see in the future.
That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. I think everybody's hearing the same thing.
Yeah.
It does look like the Lakers.
So do the Boston Celtics start celebrating right now because the Cleveland Cavaliers are in such disarray? Or is the Eastern Conference for the Celtics to lose?
Not now. Not yet.
Uh-oh.
No. I mean, LeBron's coming back. Kyrie.
Now, in this league right now, Peter, a lot of folks are complaining about the fact that it's turning into a players' league where they're determining where they go and they're getting the money and what have you. Even the commissioners complained about that, saying that he thinks it's taken away from the game. What do you think? Do you think that things are better now that the players have more? No.
Well, first of all, I don't think the commissioner said that. I don't. They can go misquoting people. I don't believe.
Well, he's really on a roll tonight, isn't he, Peter?
Look, yeah. No, he's on his regular roll.
Oh!
On an egg roll. But
what an egg roll!
I think before, the owners used to choose sides. Now the players choose sides. I see a problem with a player, trying to get out of a contract. I don't like that. Contract jumping, league jumping when there was an ABA. Now there's no renegotiation of contracts. You live by the contract. So Kyrie asking out. Okay, you can ask out, but and you have your reasons, whatever.
And I hate to be the one, Peter, to have to remind you that this is supposed to be a wrestling podcast, because I know how much you love professional wrestling. But I
forgot that.
There's a funny story. So in Boston here on WZLX Radio, there was an interview with George Thorogood. And he told a story when he was early in his career. He was hanging out in Boston and in Cambridge playing the blues shows. And he would go to the Boston Garden. And he would go see wrestling. He would see Jesse the Body Ventura. This was way back in the day. But he also said one thing that stood out to him was going to see the Celtics play. And he goes, I remember seeing the Celtics play Larry Bird and a guy, Bill Laimbeer. And he was a giant. And he was crazy. He could have been a professional wrestler.
Yeah, he would have been a perfect wrestler.
Oh, my God. I wanted to know your professional opinion. Could that guy have made the jump?
His attitude, definitely. I know he didn't like to get hit, though. He liked to hit. He was dirty. Oh, he was, would have been a great dirty wrestler. Would have made a tremendous villain. He was a villain.
Yeah, he was.
Still is in my view. And that's a perfect one. ML Carr would have been a great one too. Man, I gotta tell you, another reason I came back is hopefully if this makes any money for me. I miss going to Boston. I miss Seattle. I miss Phoenix. Miss Portland. A number of cities I love to go. I miss Philly. I don't miss New York that much.
I wonder why.
Well, if you let me just say before we let you go, if you're ever in Boston, we owe you plenty of beers. So,
That's right.
So we would love to hang out with you. And
how about dinner? I mean, come on.
All right, dinner, but nothing too expensive, Peter. Come on.
We'll take you back to legal seafood, Peter. I'll take you back to legal seafood.
Legal seafood.
Kelly's roast beef. What about that?
There you go. There you go.
When I went with Johnny, there was a line out into the street always, and Johnny would say, come with me, we just went right to a table.
Yeah, go in through the kitchen like Goodfellas.
Yeah.
So the website is patreon.com/Peter Vecsey. Folks, that's patreon.com/PeterVecsey. The Hall of Famer is back. He's as sharp as ever, and he's writing some good stuff out there, folks. So you got to check out his website, please.
So I'm going to see if you have any juice at all. See if there's one person that subscribes off this fellow.
He's calling you out. I love it.
You've already increased by 8 supporters. I've already been counting. Don't even give me that. I know what I'm doing here, Jack. See? Now look, before I let you go, because I got a bone to pick with you, Peter. The last time you were on the show, you had the audacity to say that Michael Jordan was better than Bill Russell, which is just a travesty, and I told you that I didn't appreciate that and that I was upset with you. And you said to me you were happy to get me off of your bandwagon.
Anything to get you off my bandwagon.
Well,
the next thing, the next order of business is to get you off my damn iCloud. Plus, I'm going to block you on Twitter.
I know. That'll be the real rub right there.
Yeah, the ultimate insult.
That's when you know you're not friends.
And that's enough. I've had enough. Good night.
Do you see what you did? We're having a nice time, and because you want to talk about the bandwagon, this poor guy hangs up on us. He's a legend.
I know. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. So what have you done?
And he's connected. Well,
I think you're going to find out how connected he is if you keep running your mouth like you're doing.
You know what I love about Peter Vecsey?
He is my favorite guest.
He always tells me I need to get my facts straight, right?
Yeah.
Now, the commissioner absolutely said that he didn't think that what the players are doing right now is necessarily the best for the game.
Are you relitigating this now that he's off the phone?
Because I'm sick of Peter Vecsey telling me that I'm wrong. Okay,
I might call him back and have him tell you you're wrong again.
But you know what the worst part about it is? Because the last time he was on the show, people said, "It's like, you know what? Peter kept correcting you, and you better get your stuff together, man."
That's right.
He's right. It's like, wait a second.
Listen, and he made a very good point about how he's not getting paid for the stuff he's putting out as well as he used to be.
That's right.
And that man is a journalist. You better get your ducks in a row.
I better get my ducks in a row.
Because he's going to remember, and he's going to call you on it because that's his job. That's his instinct. And he's gonna be better than you at all of it.
What did he say? You said I'm on a roll. He said, yeah, he's on an egg roll. Yeah.
He's writing copy. He was writing copy on you.
That's right.
Gosh. That's a professional.
Yeah, Peter Vecsey. It's always a pleasure when that guy comes around because you better strap yourself in.
You know what? I hope that maybe you get an honorable mention in the book, just where he just insults
Buries
you.
me, yeah.
He might need to fill a few. At the end, he might need to just
Sure.
round it out a little bit.
Sure.
I will give him any quote, Peter. If you hear this, I will give you any quotes you need. I'll make stuff up, and you can quote me. I will be your source.
Folks, you hear that? He's going to make stuff up. You hear that?
Listen. I consider myself the mooch of this show.
Yeah,
and
you're the mooch.
I'm gonna set it straight.
Oh,
okay.
boy.
I'm gonna get the communications set up here.
Listen, Peter, when you come into Boston, I owe you some clam chowder. Don't worry, bro.
He doesn't want you. The hell you put this guy through. He's
I
gonna
know.
want the fisherman's feast.
That's it, yeah.
No clam chowder.
He's going to block me on Twitter next. You watch, Well, folks, up next, who knows what's going to happen with the Boston bad boy. He said he's itching to debate me on something. I don't know what the heck's going on.
Don't worry
there,
about it.
We're going to find out.
I had Peter Vecsey do my light work, soften you up a little bit.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot. But before we get to any of that, folks, I'm telling you, you got to head over to Barnyard Cheese. That's right, Barnyard Cheese over in New York City. Now, Boston Bad Boy, last week we were talking about the bodybuilder sandwich.
Yeah, I was talking about the bodybuilder
you were talking
sandwich,
about
'cause I went and got it all hooked up and straightened out.
Well, what was interesting is that online, like on Twitter, actual bodybuilders
yes
went to Barnyard Cheese to actually order the sandwich.
bodybuilder sandwich.
I'm not even kidding you. And it was like competitive bodybuilding.
It's life imitating art.
Because we put the hashtags in and we got New York in there and all that.
Wait, so you're taking credit for the deliciousness of the sandwich?
I know I am, and I'm going to tell you another thing.
You're out of your mind.
This guy Alex that you concocted your little schemes with. I'm telling you right now. I spoke to Double D Dave Davis, and he's going to fix Alex's attitude for me.
Really?
Okay, because Alex, he kind of stepped out of line there when he's partnering up with you with some nonsense.
Do you realize these poor guys are just trying to run a sandwich shop, and you're getting involved?
Yeah,
and you're just with your nonsense.
Well, hey, listen, if bodybuilders are going down there and buying sandwiches.
What is the bodybuilder again? Tell the people what the bodybuilder is.
Yes. So we got the bodybuilder sandwich. We're talking about fresh tomato, buttery avocado, crunchy sprouts, delicious cucumber, red onion, and a nice spread of cream cheese all on 7-grain bread.
I believe in New York they call that a schmear.
Okay, a schmear.
A schmear of cream cheese.
We should ask Peter Vecsey about that.
I don't think he would have called you a schmear.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something worse.
Something worse, see? Well, folks, don't be a schmear. Stop depriving yourself of deliciousness. Visit barnyardcheese.com for more info. Enjoy.
This is Alexa. And this is Brianna. And we're Sugar and Spice. And you're listening to Duke Loves Rasslin.
Are they not the best?
No.
I'll tell you. Please. Alexa, Brianna, Sugar and Spice, Myka Madrid.
All right. Enough already.
Don't get me going again. Don't get me going again. I'm just telling you right now. All right, Boston Bad Boy, what is it on your mind this week?
Well, I've tossed the mailbag for yet another week of crap letters.
I'm so disappointed in you.
Because, again, you had to bring up Myka Madrid. Earlier you were talking about something, and you wouldn't answer my question. You have this whole segment of the show, you're going to educate me. You won't answer my question. And my question is this. During the Run the Rope segment, you were talking about Jon Jones of the UFC officially calling out Brock Lesnar over the weekend, and Lesnar accepting they're going to have a fight. So they have to work out the contracts and such, but it's going to happen.
Sure.
It looks like it's going to happen.
Sure. So
and
what?
He said, congratulations, Vince McMahon and company, blah, blah, blah. And I said, why? And you continued to not answer me. And I can go back to the tape if you want. I can go get the tape.
No, there's no need for that.
I want you to tell me why you would congratulate Vince McMahon on a UFC-sanctioned fight.
Well, because Brock Lesnar is still under contract with the WWE, so, obviously Vince McMahon and the WWE are going to get some exposure for this.
Really?
Which is great.
Really?
Yeah.
So, but why are they getting, how are they getting exposure? I mean, the WWE arguably is bigger than UFC. Why is he got to go to UFC to get exposure?
Well, it's a crossover
He's got
thing.
the guy.
It's a crossover thing.
Well, why would you cross over something bigger? I mean, Vince is supposed to be this genius. Tell me why.
Well, why not? I mean, you're talking about a sport where people are really beating each other up. So you legitimize wrestling when you can say...
No, you said it right there, though. You said it right there. Beating each other up. And I'll tell you what the big deal is. Jon Jones is a 100% dangerous human being.
Oh, my goodness.
You've seen the Cormier situation. You saw the shin to the head. The guy was unconscious, standing on his feet.
Okay.
Completely They diagnosed him with a concussion on the spot.
They did. They actually
on the spot.
did.
Like it was faster than the emergency room.
And they interviewed the poor guy, and he just wasn't even making it.
You could see the little birds around his head.
That was bad. That was bad.
He injured that guy. That guy's that's a permanent injury. That guy probably.
Jon Jones is tough. So what? So is Brock Lesnar.
So what I want to know is, you've got Lesnar under contract. You're Vince. You got Lesnar under contract, and for the sake of a publicity stunt, you're going to put this guy, who I dislike, by the way, but you're going to put this guy in harm's way to make a buck?
Give me a break.
Is that what it comes down to?
Give me a break.
Is Vince so transparent these days that that's what happens?
Don't turn this into something that it's not, because the reality of the situation is Brock Lesnar is a former UFC champion. He knows what he's doing. He can handle himself in the ring. And you know what? It's a good fight.
No. It's a good money grab is what it is.
All right.
Because, again, I'm going to stick by my guns that WWE is larger than UFC. There's no need to do this crossover. The gimmick of Lesnar being the UFC guy, they've already got all the mileage out of that they're going to get, because now he's just an old UFC guy, and it's ridiculous. They're just going to keep putting him out there and literally beating a dead horse.
No.
They're going to put him out there and have him get bloodied and bruised and broken just so Vince can sit back and go, hey, wow, USA Network's ratings are going to be great this week.
At some point, seriously, Boston Bad Boy, because it's bothering me that week in and week out, you continue to paint this negative picture of Vince McMahon.
No, I'm painting the picture. This is still life. This is the reality.
I'm just telling you right now that at some point you're going to have to cut it out, because Vince McMahon, there's no way he could even operate business-wise for all this time.
Usual.
If he was as bad as you say he is,
as usual.
It's disrespectful, and you really need to cut it out.
As usual, you're missing the big picture, and the big picture is this. We've talked a lot about ongoing injuries in the world of professional wrestling. People not properly trained. Wrestling is supposed to look like real, dangerous fighting. It's not supposed to be real, dangerous fighting. And now he's encouraging someone who's on his roster, just one person for now, that actual shoot fighting is the way to...
So what?
Is what gets ratings.
So what?
So why not just turn the WWE into the UFC?
Maybe they will. Did you ever think about that?
Are you out of your mind? And you call yourself a wrestling fan?
Well,
you're disgusting. You're a disgrace, and you're a disappointment.
No.
And Vince McMahon shouldn't even have a fan like you, because you don't even believe in what wrestling really is.
I think,
you are not a fan. No. You just pay lip service because you think it's the right thing to do.
I'm wrapping this guy up, folks. I'm sick of this guy.
I'm going to wrap you up.
Thank you to Peter Vecsey for joining us. Yeah. Also, thank you to Mark Adam Haggerty. Do you know his name?
Mark, that's it. Oh, hi, Mark.
Head over to Facebook. Head over to Twitter. Type in Duke Loves Rasslin. Let me know what you think of the show, folks.
I'm going to let you know.
I got to get out of here because the boss
you're going to go figure out how to become a wrestling fan.
Again.
You know nothing about wrestling. And you know what? Don't make me get shambled.